Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Arlene Diamco, the multidimensional MD. For those of you that don't know, I'm an integrative physician, a pediatrician, and a cranial osteopath. And my mission is to help bring the intuitive spirit back to medicine in practical and tangible ways so that we can all access deeper healing and experience more peace, love, and joy in our everyday lives. Every week, I will sit and meditate on a topic to talk about. And I never really know exactly what's gonna come up, but this week I felt called to talk about feeling misunderstood. What that feels like, what that might have to do with your health, and, ways to address it and to take steps to feel more connected. So feeling misunderstood is universal. It is something that everyone has experienced at some point in their lives. If you've ever felt or have been told that you are too much, too sensitive, too emotional, too picky, too anything, or maybe not enough of something, not strong enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough, somehow not good enough. Or maybe you just feel like or have been told that you just need to get over it. You can feel like that you're different, you don't belong. You might overcompensate for these feelings by people pleasing and overhelping, by retreating from your own needs, not stating your needs, or saying you don't need anything because you're afraid you won't be understood. You might find it difficult to be intimate or vulnerable, and you might be bottling up emotions, which can contribute to this fight or flight state that eventually bubbles over, even with seemingly small things. Or maybe you're coping by overcompensating in another way, being overly demanding and needing, putting your voice over others in this fear that you won't be heard, you won't be understood. So there's this balance between being aggressive versus passive. And there's this sweet spot that Tai Chi masters are aware of. It's a relaxed strength, which is much stronger than other kinds of strength. So an aggressive state is a tense strength. You have to push your way through. A passive state is just too relaxed. It has no oomph, no power, no strength. So a relaxed strength is that sweet spot right in between, a balance that is neither aggressive nor passive. It is it is in that ease, in that in the zone of living. So who is at risk for feeling misunderstood? Well, again, feeling misunderstood is universal. So all personality types will be experiencing it at some point. There's not one personality type that experiences it more than others, but there are situations that can contribute to it. So there are life situations like adolescence, going through puberty, the hormonal ups and downs. If you feel that you are more of this people pleaser type, or if you're really highly sensitive and you feel so many things, then you might be picking up on just feelings of either being judged or not understood, and more than another person might. Maybe if you're in neurodivergent group, so you might not feel like you're in the norm of how people typically respond to things, and that can make you feel different or left out of things, misunderstood in a way. If you've had any serious trauma, especially complex trauma, uh, feeling like you had any childhood instability, because this will create patterns that's that lens that you see things through the world and can easily put you at risk for feeling misunderstood because there's a lot to dive through there, a lot to navigate. And anyone that doesn't feel like they belong in some way. So any a person or group that is marginalized or seen as different then can be at risk for feeling misunderstood. But this is an incomplete list. And again, the need for connection, connecting with other humans, connecting with other living beings is a universal need. And so anyone at any point has felt misunderstood. and but to consider it for yourself if this is a trigger for you, because there's ways that you can address it, and that's why we are here today. So what does it feeling like what does that feeling of being misunderstood have to do with health? So I love this line from Dr. Bernie Siegel, who is a surgeon, and he did a lot with holistic medicine, the art of healing, and drawings, and this intuition and consciousness with health. And he said, "Don't be a good patient." He said, "Be a responsible one." Isn't that a curious statement? Don't be a good patient. So, because typically we think of a good patient as 100% compliant, they follow all the directions, they don't um, they don't try to stray from the path that's being recommended to them. So that is a good patient. But he's saying, don't be a good patient, be a responsible one. Because what he saw is saw a lot of people that had cancer, had to go undergo chemotherapy, other cancer treatments. And he saw that the people that were more likely to have serious side effects from whatever treatment they were undergoing were when they didn't feel completely aligned with the treatment, or they had reservations about it. And they didn't have a good feeling about it, but they also had a lot of questions. They didn't have a clarity for their path forward. And it doesn't mean that we have to be 100% clear all the time, but it does mean we have a responsibility to ourselves to listen to ourselves, to understand ourselves, or to make an attempt to, and to make sure that our voices are heard and that we get to feel empowered to be a part of our own treatment plan, a part of taking care of ourselves, and we're not handing that over all to somebody else. So it doesn't mean don't follow what your physician or healthcare practitioner recommends to you. It doesn't mean that at all. It means have a conversation, have a dialogue, be interested, be curious about yourself and your plan for yourself. And if you have any questions or reservations, maybe you don't feel like you have questions, but you have these feelings if you're not sure about it, then make sure to bring those up, voice those, because you have that responsibility to yourself. And if you are engaged in that way with your own health and healing, then you can get more out of whatever treatment plan there is. And what he saw was avoid the more serious side effects. So, what can we do to help ourselves when we feel misunderstood? The first steps are to pause because, of course, when you feel triggered and you're spiraling, it's not a good time to automatically meet that, because what chances are that you're just going to hit right up against it and match it in behavior that maybe you don't really want to be living through, to be expressing. So it's first to pause and not be caught up in the situation and the feeling of it, but to really take a moment to hear yourself, to see yourself, to feel yourself, and ground and center. And grounding and centering means that you are paying attention to yourself. You're paying attention to your various senses. You're paying attention to your physical sensations, to your emotional feelings, to the thoughts that are going through your mind. So, feeling misunderstood, you can think of it as a reminder to reconnect with yourself. So, next time you feel like, oh, they don't get me, they don't understand me, pause and consider, wait, do I get myself? Do I understand myself? Do I love my body? Do I love my mind? Do I love my soul? What am I feeling at this very moment? And can I allow myself to feel it? That doesn't mean that you have to like it. That means that you can expand your being so much that you can allow yourself to be, because you don't want to shut out any part of yourself, even the parts of yourself that are going through difficult things, through challenges, that are going through uncomfortable things. So you don't want to shut that part of you out. You want to hug all of those parts of you and claim all those parts. And that's how you ground and center. And then to keep going in that direction, you can place your hands on your energetic heart center, or you could place one hand on your heart, one hand on your head to connect these telephone lines from your heart to your head. And then ask to see and to feel and hear, ask to see from this perspective an understanding of the divine, of the universe, of the stillness, whatever term you want to use for that, something bigger than yourself. So this helps you to get out of victim mode of like, nobody understands me, nobody gets me. And then you step into this more co-creator mode of like, oh, what do I need to understand about myself to move forward, to move through this, to navigate through this? So pause, hands on heart or hands on heart and head, and then ask to see through the divine. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is my daughter here. So, um, yes, I'm just telling her that I am in the middle of a live recording, and this is this is this is my regular life. Just so you know that um, so I'm a mom of four, and so at any moment that I can get that. But anyway, I will get right back to her. So we'll get through this. And so put your hands in your energetic heart center, hands and head. And this helps you get out of victim mode and into co creator mode. And then I want you to go through these three remembrances. So remember one, that we all see the world through the lens of our current patterns. So this is why if we've anyone's been through any serious trauma or childhood trauma, complex trauma, anything that you've been through shapes the way that you see the world. And so when we reconnect the telephone lines, our minds with our heart center, then we can reconnect to that stillness, to the divine, to our heart messages. And so if and we remember that we see the world through the lens of our current patterns. This helps us to have compassion both for ourselves, for our triggers, and for how other people are responding around us. And remember that everyone has a basic need to feel understood. So I said this before. This is a basic human need. So speak from there that I want to understand you. And this is what I heard, but it feels, and then explain how you feel. And then ask, is this what you meant? Because you want to feel understood, but you're feeling misunderstood. So you want to get clarity from the other person. So the other person also wants you to understand them. So you have to, when you drop down into your heart center, then you can speak more of that from your heart, from your soul, from that love perspective, so that you can come from this perspective like, I want to understand myself and I want to understand you. That's my hope and desire, and have that kind of dialogue versus bumping up and meeting in either an overly aggressive way or too passive way. So where it's like you're just all fight and like, I hate it when you do that, instead of like trying to understand where they're coming from, or retreat mode and just like don't say anything and like slither away. The third remembrance is that people have different constitutions, different gifts, and different perspectives. We are a whole rainbow of humans, and we are meant to be like that. The beauty of that rainbow in the human existence doesn't always feel like that, but just imagine that everyone is this flower, and in that garden of life, every flower is beautiful, and every flower is not competing with the other flower, but adds to the beauty of the whole garden. And then we can also bring in the higher dimensions. So recognize that our 3D world is inherently misunderstood. There's so much more than this. And that's part of like bringing in, asking to see from the perspective of the divine, from the stillness. But if we actually remember that there is maybe there's a fourth remembrance, that there's a mystery to all of these higher dimensions, and that we can choose to explore, but we won't always understand it completely. We it's hard. We physically can't, as human beings, understand all the dimensions completely, especially in a tangible way. But we can recognize the mysteries of life. We can recognize that there are these higher dimensions, and that what we see at any given time isn't all there is. So in a way, we are constantly misunderstanding the world. I mean, when you see it like that, then it starts to I don't know, for me, it helps me kinda settle down a bit because then I realize, like, wait, we're all always misunderstanding. So it's in our choosing to attempt to understand and to bring in these higher dimensions that adds these more depth to life. And in our attempt to understand and relaxing that relaxed strength into trusting into the divine, the perspective of the divine that we can navigate with more ease. But to know that this feeling misunderstood is inherently part of the human experience. So there's not necessarily, a getting out of it, but it's like, how do we use that to help us understand more? And for me, that is, understanding that, wow, there is a mystery to life, and we don't wanna let go of that mystery. We wanna embrace the mystery, and that gives us so much depth to our living, so then we know that any moment in time is is something that is meaningful. Even the smallest thing, the most mundane, is something meaningful in our day-to-day existence. So that's amazing. So what do you do if you feel regularly misunderstood? Well, one, to go back to the beginning, take those first steps, implement maintenance strategies, practices to help you reconnect with yourself because it's not a one and done reconnection. It's a constant state of being that we can remind ourselves over and over again. So if you're constantly feeling triggered by nobody gets me, no one understands me, it's like keep going inward into yourself and discovering yourself over and over again, discovering that beauty, discovering that love, discovering those gifts, those hidden gifts that you might not fully understand yet. Understand yourself. So, and then two, if you're feeling regularly misunderstood, then find people that are like you, or create a community of people with similar constitutions. Are you highly sensitive? Then join a group of people that are also highly sensitive. Are you neurodivergent? An engineer type, a history lover, a musician? Find your people and hang out with them. It doesn't mean don't hang out with other kinds of people because remember, appreciate the rainbow, but it means that you can choose to have this built-in support network for yourself. And those kinds of groups, if they are support networks, then they are always loving, encouraging. They will feel safe. They are people there to help you to be the best version of yourself, not to make you feel dependent on them or to make you feel bad in other ways. But because even within those groups, there's each person is unique, but they can embrace you for who you are and help you to be and live that best version of yourself. And so that you can together like, help yourselves and rise up from whatever stuckness that you're feeling. So those kinds of groups are again supportive, loving. They don't make you dependent on them, but they make you feel empowered. So I hope that helps you in some way. Again, I never know what topic I'm going to come up with from week to week, but I love coming in here. It helps me learn right along with you. And I love sharing what I've seen in my practice, in my personal life, in the world around us in general, and seeing what themes that I see and bringing them to you here so that we can have a deeper dive into them. If this helps you or you feel someone else could benefit from this, then please share this video, like, subscribe. And if you have any questions, then drop them in the comments. I would love to hear from you, your perspectives, and anything else that you would like to talk about. So lots of love to all of you. If you would like to connect with me further, you can on All Worlds Health on Instagram, All Worlds Health and Pediatrics on Facebook, and on my website, I send out an e-love letter about once a week on Wednesdays, and that's allworldshealth.com. Lots of love to all of you. It's Dr. Arlene Diamco, the multidimensional MD. I believe in you and hope that you believe in you too. Take care.